Alright, we back on gaming. So y'all know how this gonna go. At this point, I shouldn't even call it back on gaming. It should be, who done fucked up this week? That's what I should be calling it. But you know what? It's fine. As far as I'm concerned, this is something that's gonna be very easy, and it's something that, like I said, I'm not gonna spend too much time on SJW stuff due to the fact that they really don't have anything to say. And we're gonna start off with Brianna Wu. Because remember when Brianna Wu said this? Remember that? Yeah, I remember it. Pepper Farm remembers it. And remember when I did the entire checklist and I ran it down, I said, you really should check your privilege and shut the fuck up and stop trying to speak for other people. Did I talk about that? Did I talk about this? Okay. So then why did this week Brianna Wu say this? Apparently somebody didn't get the fucking memo from last time. What did I tell you before, Brianna Wu? Stop trying to speak for us. And you know, you're not even trying to speak for us. You're trying to use us as your platform. And you're sitting here saying, feminist figures like myself. Feminist figures? Feminist figures. Alright, I want to play this. What the fuck have you done that makes you a feminist figure? I want to know. Because I don't see you at any rallies. No, I see you get on Twitter and bitch and moan about things. Because let's be honest here, if we go back to the history of when you started all this, it wasn't until what happened with Zoe Quinn, okay? Then you came out and said some things on Twitter and then ran on TV and was like, oh, I'm being harassed and all this. And when you ran on TV to say that you were being harassed, 99.9% of people were saying, who the fuck is this? Who are you? We don't know who you are. All of a sudden you're being harassed, you gotta run from your home, and then we saw, what did you say? Oh, I love when they're sending me, phone calls, and now we just sit back and laugh at them at dinner, which means you can't use the harassment thing anymore. You're done with that, right? Okay, I just want to get that out the way. Then you sit here and say, feminist figures. I'm still stuck on this feminist figure thing due to the fact that you've got to be kidding me. That if you think you put out a couple tweets, and mind you, it got to a point where you tried to ask for an assistant. You wanted people to donate to your Patreon so that you could pay someone else to handle your social media account. Remember that? Because it was just too much. And what did we say? How about you get the fuck off Twitter and go to work? That was too much like right though. But you're so scorned, right? So let me get this straight. Alright, first, it was you're being harassed. Now you laugh at the harasser, so you can't use that anymore. You use us black people, to try and promote, to strengthen your platform. There's a difference between, actually having an opinion about things and then trying to do it to strengthen your platform because you actually put in feminist figure. You have no idea how much that fucking boy, man, you have no idea, okay? But I'll put it like this. What I love about this tweet is that unconsciously, alright, Brianna Wu admits that she has privilege. That's what the tweet sums up to. She has privilege. So since you just admitted that, you know what that means? You can't say that you're being oppressed anymore. So you can't say you're being harassed anymore since you laughed at the so-called threats. Now, you're sitting here saying you have privilege. You know what that means? Shut the fuck up. You have zero, and I mean absolute zero, self-awareness. But then again, most of the people that you hang around with do. Just saying. Anyways, speaking of zero self-awareness, I want to talk about I want to make sure I get this right. John Cridlin. For those who don't know, he is encouraging art students, right, to pour more work into art, in artistry, I should say, because, and I want to get this right, all right, so that computer games of the future are not designed by spotty nerds. That's right. And let's just show you what this guy looks like. If you want to talk about spotty nerds, this is what he looks like. Bruh, seriously, that you got the nerve to call, you know what? I will put any amount of fucking money that I am more athletic than that guy. Any amount of money. You know what? Maybe I'm going about this the wrong way. Maybe I need to reevaluate this. Maybe I need to be a little bit more logical about it instead of taking that type of head-on approach, okay? Maybe. So how about this? We'll do it a little bit more logical. A little bit more, how can I put this? Sympathetic to those so-called nerds that he talks about, all right? So how about this? Bruh, you do realize that there are nerds in everything, right? This is why I hate the term nerd so much. Because you can love sports and be a stats guy, and you would be considered a sports nerd. Has anyone ever seen sports science? Where they actually show you the degree, the physics, the speed of an athlete when they're running or when they have a collision, or a boxer when they get hit, those type of things, guess what? That's science. So that's nerds, right? Okay. Also, should we talk about how can I put this? Should we talk about mechanics? Should we talk about them? They're the nerds of the auto industry, right? Because you got to build these things. I mean, if your car breaks down and then someone's got to fix it, I mean, they would know the ins and outs of your car. Would you sit around and call them a nerd? Because they know how to fix something? Because someone can be resourceful? If my computer breaks down, I want to be able to open it up myself and fix it without having to pay somebody to do it. Hello there, Geek Squad. It's amazing how people can use terms like nerds and geeks in such a negative connotation, should I say, and then turn around and try to promote it when we see all the time, oh, Geek Fest, Geek Con. I just saw a commercial the other day for Xfinity where they were saying, get your geek on. I don't understand why people are using this type of lingo. I don't think that they even understand, or at least, once again, zero self-awareness. I think it's one of those things where they're so used to being degraded that they feel as though the term should be degraded. If it wasn't for nerds, we wouldn't have a lot of things today. If you like your cell phone, if you like playing with apps and things of that nature, guess what? You like tech, that would technically make you a nerd. So everyone who constantly screams nerd and things of that nature, guess what? In some way, shape, or form, you're a nerd yourself. Do you like drinking? Do you like beer? You know there's a science behind that, right? You're a nerd yourself if you sit there and brew your own beer. There are a number of things that you can sit here and say that people are nerds. But to use it in such a negative fashion, I understand that a lot of people are very guilty of this because it's very tempting for you to say, you know, someone's a nerd and consider them weak. We see a lot of people say, this is gay, and would consider it stupid. That's what they mean. And then people get offended. We see this time and time again. But the fact that this guy sits here and says this is absolutely ridiculous. It is. And like I said, straight from the hip, this real talk. Y'all know what I'm talking about, all right? So it's not like all of a sudden it's, how dare you say this? No, come on now, let's be honest here. We see this time and time again on the internet. We do. And more likely in real life as well. I'm sure there's a number of people who spend a lot of time in real life who deal with people like this as well. It's absolutely ridiculous. When you sit and think about all the things that you have technology-wise, guess what? Someone had to sit down and either create it, so I guess that's making them a nerd. They had to build it, so I guess that technically makes them a nerd. You've got to be kidding me. It doesn't matter what label that you hide under. Architect, you know what I mean? Mechanic, electrician, whatever. You're still technically a nerd because you're actually advancing society. Do you not understand this? If you like to smoke weed, guess what? If you just smoked it back in the day, and we're going to talk about that in a bit, okay? If you smoked it back in the day, it was completely different. These days, they do all types of stuff to advance it, do they not? It's amazing how everything that, people want to try to be cool about, you disregard all the things that made it cool. And it took those nerds to make it cool. Pretty sad. And this guy got a lot of fucking nerve. He got a lot of fucking nerve. He do. Anyways, I want to move on. Yesterday, I put out a series of tweets about reboots in movies. And the reason I bring this up because this is game related, okay? First, it was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is getting rebooted. And it seemed like people were very upset about that on Twitter. And then we found out that Kindergarten Cop is being rebooted. Instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger, they're going to have Dolph Lundgren. And then people got upset about that. Well, today we shall talk gaming. And that means that, for those who don't know, Mortal Kombat is going to be rebooted. That's right. Mortal Kombat. And James Wan, I believe, wants to be a producer so bad on this. So we will see what happens with that. That's right. So Mortal Kombat is getting rebooted. I do want to move on to fighting games. So let's move on. For those who don't know, SNK Playmore has been bought out by a Chinese company. Now, before everyone loses their shit, understand that they said they were going to take the Marvel route. Before anyone thinks, oh my god, Ultimate Marvel, blah. No, the Marvel route, as in meaning they're going to take these IPs and they're going to make movies of them. They're going to make series of them. They're going to plaster them everywhere so that these games get more recognition. I am all for that. Because we are long overdue for a Fatal Fury, to be quite honest. Yes, we get King of Fighters, but let's be honest here. Terry Bogard is the original poster boy, not Kyo Kusanagi, alright? And as far as I'm concerned, Rock Howard should have been next in line. But that's just me. Okay? Just saying. Also, more fighting news, I guess. Nintendo explains why they won't annualize Super Smash Bros. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm okay with that. You shouldn't have to annualize it. We see too much of it already with certain games, like EA and their Maddens and things of that nature. And I will talk about EA today. I will. They got a lot of shit. Oh my god. Anyways, I'm okay with Smash Brothers not being annualized because, let's be honest here, if you're giving a good portion of the game, and we've seen it, they've had some DLC, they've got a great amount of characters. You don't need to throw a ton of stuff at people and then say, next year we're going to give you this, which would then water down what you already have. That's what's good about Smash Brothers. Take your time. I have no problem with that. I know a lot of people say, well, you know what? They annualize Mario in some way, shape, or form every year. Yes, they do. Mario in general is their flagship. You will see that every year. You will. However, Super Smash Bros. Does not need to be annualized every year. I am very happy with the fact that they have said, no, we're not doing this. I'm very happy with that. Also, when I said about weed, marijuana, for those who don't know, esports fans, we talked about drug testing before and how they were going to test for Adderall. Well, now they will be drug testing you for marijuana use. That's right. So I'm telling you now, if you smoke weed, marijuana, if you're going to do it, you better hold off for quite a bit if you're going to be competitive, okay? I'm just letting you know now. The link will be in the info bar that they will start testing for this, all right? So they're giving you a heads up. I'll put it like this. When you see articles like this, and we see it in sports all the time for those who watch sports videos, they let you know ahead of time, months ahead of time. Sometimes, like the NBA, they said last season, before the finals was over, that this season they would be testing for HGH. So meaning they're giving you all that off season if you are on HGH to get off it. And if you get caught during this season coming up, then you're a fucking idiot. Because you've had more than enough time to adjust yourself. The same thing with these drug tests when it comes for marijuana. They're telling you ahead of time that, hey, this is what we'll be testing for. If you get caught from here on out, you're a fucking idiot because you didn't want to listen. Okay? That's all I'm going to say on it. Now, I want to move on. I want to talk about more fighting games. AlucarD. For those who don't know, AlucarD, or should I say AlucarD, alright, scores a 102 game win streak on Street Fighter V, and not even Capcom could stop him. So, 102, huh? Well, I ate 102 for breakfast over at MomoCon when I won 128. Where's my article? I'm just saying, where's my article? Oh, it doesn't matter. I forgot. It never matters. You know what? And that's why I have a problem with the fighting game community. Not because of the lack of, it is a lack of respect, but you have to understand that these media outlets, and then you guys and girls sent me this article because I didn't look for it. I wasn't going to go to fucking event hubs. I'm not trying to hear that shit, okay? But the fact is, this is something that has to stop. You want to report something, then be more consistent on everything that happens, no matter where it's at. It could have been at MomoCon, it could be at EVO. Does it matter when it happens? Does it matter? For me, things have just fucking changed so much. It's amazing how, if you went to an arcade and you did this in face-to-face combat, people, because you don't know, you couldn't check people's gamer scores. You didn't know the experience level they had. Whoever stepped up to the plate got handled. That's how it was. And guess what? People gave you respect. These days when you do it, you gotta have an article written, and of course you should always have witnesses there so they say, hey, this really did happen. But then people start to question, well, you must have played a bunch of scrubs the whole time. How the fuck is anyone supposed to know their fighting level when you're face to face? How the fuck is anyone supposed to know? So as far as I'm concerned, that person, I give him all credit. 102 is a hell of a feat. It is. Same thing when Justin Wong did. 100, what you get, 100? I believe it was. 100. That's a hell of a feat. But I trumped both of those. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm very proud that I trumped both of those. And that's a feat in itself. And when I do it, it's, well, fuck that guy. But when these people do it, it's, well, you know what? We're going to write an article about it. We're going to kiss ass. And it's, you know what? That's the celebrity complex again. I'm sure that these players, when they did it, they weren't thinking that at the time. They weren't saying, oh, I'm going to become a celebrity when this. No. But it's the people around them that this is what happens. And this is what I mean about people. You have to be careful of who you're around. The community is taking way too much of a Hollywood approach. It just is. It was never about that. Like I said, when you went to arcades and you played, you know what that was? It was because we all came together because of people like in the Hollywood phase or, the jocks or whatever at the time or anyone who just didn't like games, they if you didn't fit into their fucking group, they outcasted you. And the thing is, with me, I had a chance to still do both. That's what kills me, because I played football, I played basketball, I played all these sports, and I still had time for games. And then when I do these videos, I gotta hear, well, you're not a real sports fan from the sports fans, and then I gotta hear, well, you're not a real gamer from the gamers. And then I prove you both the fuck wrong. And then, what do I say? What you gonna do now? And you know what you do? You get fucking salty. And I just sit back and laugh. Because you can do more things. You don't just have to be good at one thing. As long as you push yourself and you have the determination, you can do anything. But don't let these people tell you that. No. Don't let them tell you that. Who the fuck is this guy saying this? He's not part of our community. Half the people who say that shit to me, I'm like 10 times older than them. You know what I'm saying? And kids saying this shit to me. I'm like, motherfucker, I probably played your dad and you didn't even know. Unreal. It's just unreal. It just is. For me, it's just like the fighting game community needs to pull it back some. They just do. You know, if a player beats you, give them their respect. I don't care if it's one game. I don't care if it's 100 games. Give them their fucking respect. We just saw on, last night on, a pre-on stream. This guy is talking so much, using Jason out of all people, talking so much shit to him. And he's lagging hard, alright? And he's getting bodied the entire time while talking shit. And he's talking so much shit to the point where he quits. That's ridiculous. And Prion's like, mark up another one. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. Like, there's no reason for that. There just isn't. And you know what? I shouldn't have to come out and say this shit either. The people that should be coming out and saying this shit are the people who already have their ass kissed all the damn time. But of course, they're not going to say anything because they sitting pretty. They don't care because they're about themselves. And yeah, you can get fucking mad I said that. What anybody going to do about it to my face? Nothing. I'll say it, and anyone who's on MoCon, you know, I will say it to people's face just like I say it here on camera. So like I said, I applaud AlucarD for doing what he did. 102, that's a hell of a feat. Nothing but respect. But the fact that this media is so hit and miss, it's fucking ridiculous. They pick and choose. And that's bullshit. But they're supposed to be the pillars of the community, right? Anyways, let's move on, man. I want to talk about Capcom. Anyways, no, actually Capcom, they're also a little hit and miss right now. For those who don't know, Capcom launches a very cute Monster Hunter Training Academy series, which is really, if you've seen it, I'll put the link in the info bar. It's really cool as far as I'm concerned. Teaches, you know, it's about, for those who've ever played Monster Hunter, you know the cats, you know how kitty assistants can be a pain in the ass at times when they're throwing barrels or when they attack, and they can hit you at times. And that's what this is. It's a training video, but it's starring them. So it's really cool. And the art style is really nice, too. Right? It's very simple. It's very basic. It's really cool to see, though. It's something, I'll put it like this. It's one of the lighter things that goes to show you that Capcom, once again, and we see it in Monster Hunter all the time where they have their light comedy. Once again, we see this again with Monster Hunter. It's really cool. Capcom finally officially announces that Resident Evil 2 will be remade. You already know how I feel about this. You already know. We talked about this last week, alright? And, of course, Resident Evil 2 will be remade. I'm sure people are going to be happy about it. But I've seen a number of articles where people were like, can Resident Evil 2 save gaming? What? What the fuck do you mean save gaming? Because it's going to reimagine everything. It's going to be fleshed out and all this. You don't know what to expect just yet. So stop. Okay? Stop. There's no reason to look, it's okay to have conversations with people and say, hey, they may do this, they may do that. But to say it may save gaming, get the fuck out of my face. Seriously, man. Also, in more news, I'm actually going to shift gears here with Sega. Yeah, Sega. Sega starts Hatsune Miku collaboration project. So Sega, is this, you know, when you said you wanted to make sure that, you know, you gave back to the fans and get the fans respect, this is what you had in mind? This is what you had in mind. Once again, where's Jet Set Radio? Once again, because, you know, people have been asking for a long time, where is Phantasy Star online too? I mean, where is it? Shouldn't it have been localized by now? Sega, stop. Sega, just, you know, just go away. We have bigger problems anyway. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about EA. And they're bullshit. I swear to God, Peter Moore, why can't you just shut the fuck up? What is the problem? Look, Now, you know, before in the past, I've done videos on Peter Moore. I've also, for those who follow me on Twitter, you know, I've talked to Peter Moore. And every time he's always done this ducking shit. Stop ducking and get to the truth. Stop lying to people. I said this before, did I not? So, for those who don't know what I'm talking about. And he's going, like I said, you may be offended by this, you may not. I don't know. Star Wars Battlefront doesn't have single player. And this is because he says, because people don't play single player games anymore. You really want to say that, Peter Moore? Do you really want to go there? They don't play single player campaigns? You won't tell me that, Peter Moore. Why are you fucking lying? You've got to be kidding me. Star Wars Battlefront, the campaign was actually really good for Star Wars Battlefront. I don't understand why you wouldn't put that in. But to say, you know, this online culture, well, whose problem is that? Whose fault is that? It's you and Activision and all you fucking companies who decide, hey, we're going to take, you know, the arcades away from people and we're going to put them on the networks and we're going to make first-person shooters and we're not even going to give a damn about single player because we're going to give you a small bit of single player which will last only a couple hours, and what we're going to do is we're going to make you stay on our networks and play adversary online. Oh, by the way, we don't have to commit to you when it comes to adversary online because we can take it away in 3 months, but we want you to pay monthly for this shit. Do not sit here and fucking lie. And you know you're lying. Get the fuck out of here with this old bullshit. I can't believe you said some shit like that. But it gets worse. He says more. Yes. On this DLC, he says the conspiracies are nonsense. He's saying that there's no on-disc DLC whatsoever in video games. That they're nonsense. Really, Peter Moore? Do we need to go back to this? Peter Moore is showing, or should I say displaying, exactly what he thinks of consumers. And not just those like us that are calling him on his bullshit. No, we're also talking about what he thinks of those who actually buy into his bullshit. Because we have more, okay? For those who don't know what I'm talking about. Mirror's Edge Catalyst is a front runner for gamescon Best Game. So, about that single player thing, Peter Moore. About that. Yeah, you want to go back on that? Yeah, that's what I thought. The fact is, we still have zero confirmation if Anir Sarkeesian was a consultant for this. And you won't answer that. Why is this? You said if she's not part of the team, you don't have to be part of the team to be a consultant, right? But all of a sudden now it's a front runner out of all the games that are coming out for Gamescom. This is assholes once again giving awards to each other. That's all it is. Peter Moore, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself for what you said. And once again, for old joke references, where's my title? Anyways, let's move on. I want to talk about more asshole shit. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, the PS4. Sony, you done fucked up. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, PS4 has had a system update, okay? Gives you all these little things, and yet it didn't fix PSN, right? Didn't we talk about PSN last week? As they said that, you know, people who use PS Plus, and that, you know, we thank you for all the times that you've been there from the beginning. And what did I say? Well, what about the gamers that were there before you decided to make PS Plus? What do they get? They get nothing, right? Check this out. For those who don't know, because, you know, you PS Plus, you know, subscribers, you were so loyal to Sony, and you helped them so much that PS Plus prices to be increased in Europe and in the UK. So that's what you get for your trouble. Yes, that's what you get for your loyalty, I should say. Yeah, you know, thank you for supporting us. Here's a price raise. And even though this is just Europe and the UK, if this does well in Europe and UK, you bet your ass it's going to come here to North America. You better bet your ass it's going to. You've got to be kidding me, Sony, that you would try and pull some shit like this. Right after you thank consumers. That's just unreal. But yet, I'm telling you this, I'm going to be the bad guy, right? Right. Okay, all right. Let's move on. Final Fantasy 15. Yeah. We'll get a simultaneous worldwide release, which is a good thing. Square has done, I would say, if you look at the numbers for what Square has done, overall in their company, they've done a pretty good job right now. So, hey, worldwide release, simultaneous, go ahead. Why not? Also, last week we talked about Batman Arkham Knight, and I told you about there was an Alfred mod, you know, where you can play as Alfred when he fights in the streets of Gotham. Well, now there's a new mod out. For those who don't know, PC gamers, you can play as Nightmare Batman and Killer Croc. And if you're interested, I'll put the video in the info bar for you so you can see it. So, like I said, once again, this is another mod for Batman Arkham Knight, okay? Also, study reveals. Oh, we have to have this talk, parents. Oh, we really need to have this talk. We do. Study reveals parents spend hundreds on Skylanders-style games and considers them good value. You can't be that fucking stupid. You can't be. Now, here's the thing. When Skylanders was first coming out, and I talked about this, when Activision, Bobby Kotick himself came out and said, we needed a gimmick to get kids to buy things, to have add-on sales, to increase revenue, because Call of Duty was getting tired, and Guitar Hero, as we knew, were falling down the ranks because they pretty much had hoarded out as much as possible. So they needed a new gimmick. And everyone was like, well, when are we going to get a new Spyro? And we never did get a new Spyro. And then they came with Skylanders. And they said, hey, you can have Skylanders, but you got to buy all these little toys, all these little figures, so that you can play as those characters and add-ons and things of that nature, which would have them rolling in dough. Now, for those who don't remember, just a couple months ago, Bobby Kotick was almost fired from Activision, all right? Because they felt as though they didn't need him after the things that he has said and has done, because he doesn't respect gamers. And as you know, as a gaming company, you still need those consumers. If you're trying to pander to little kids so they can say, mommy, 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 daddy, daddy, buy this for me, and the parents say, hey, it seems like it's good because you're getting the best of both worlds, which is you're getting a toy and you're getting a video game. Did we not see also the reports when I reported a couple months ago where the toy industry was very upset at the video game industry due to the fact that they felt they were taking sales away from them? Remember that? Okay. So, if parents think that, and I hope I didn't go too fast for anybody, but if parents think that this is considered good value, well then riddle me this. Why is Disney Infinity sales, now mind you, Disney Infinity has better IPs, is more well known than Skylanders, right? Okay. The sales are sliding and revenue falls by $58 million during the quarter. So if it's good revenue, why is Disney Infinity getting hit so hard when it comes to sales? Someone want to tell me? They got the Marvel license, they have the Disney license. You've got to be kidding, and they have more notable characters that kids would know, not just, like I said, because Skylanders, that's just one facet. But Disney, they have them on TV, they got movies, they got books, they got comic books, they have all types of stuff going on. Like I said, Disney and Marvel Entertainment combined, they would be making more money, right? They wouldn't be taking this type of hit. So to sit here and say that it's good quality, it sounds like you're actually full of shit and don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, I want to move on. So, for those who don't know, Namco Bandai, they're publishing a game called Get Even, and it will be coming out next year. Alright? Also in good news, Mario Kart 7 trophies returned in Club Nintendo Stars catalog. For those who have not seen these trophies, they're pretty badass. And what I'll do is I'll put the link in the info bar so that you can see them, okay? Also, we have to talk about, oh yeah, we have to talk about it. This is what I've been waiting for. Yeah, we have to talk about this. Ninja Theory. Ninja Theory. Okay. Ninja Theory says that devs must learn to tackle more serious issues in their games. Really, Ninja Theory? You cannot be this fucking stupid. You cannot come out. Why would you come out? You know what? You need to tackle more serious issues, huh? But you know what? If you're supposed to be the beacon of light, the leading example, then you know what? Then you've already failed. Because if you look at numbers, matter of fact, let's look at the Shakespearean writing, the serious narrative that you gave Devil May Cry.
Prom date, you ugly sack of shit.
Who the fuck are you? You can't kill me. I'm 1,200 years old.
You don't look a day over 12,000.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
You make quite the team. I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better looking. Bonus is behind the vault door. Let's not keep him waiting. And I got a bigger dick.
And you still can't sell this shit because it's shit. If anyone has seen not too long ago, alright, Sony just not too long ago, I believe it's this week actually, they actually put every version of DMC on sale. That's right. Definitive Edition, every edition of DMC, I believe there's 3 different editions, and they're so dirt cheap, and yet they're still not selling. Take a hint here. Seriously. For you to sit here and say that video games, developers need to go more realistic. No! Won't you understand that video games are supposed to be an escape from reality? That's what they're supposed to be. You don't always have to deal with serious issues. Because I'll put it like this, Ninja Theory, even though your Hellblade game is coming out, right? And for those who haven't seen the trailer, it's actually an interesting take on mental illness. We will see what happens with Ninja Theory if they shit the bed or not. We don't know yet, okay? Because a lot of people are saying, look at the brutal combat, blah, 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 blah. I don't give a shit. I don't care about the brutal combat. I don't really care about this game in general, okay? But I will give them credit on one thing. They are tackling something with mental illness. That's their narrative, all right? Mental illness, which is already a million times better than Depression Quest. I'm just saying, okay? But, let's be honest here, Ninja Theory. Not everything has to be serious. And I guarantee you that your Hellblade game will not stand up. You want to talk about consequences and being serious? I guarantee it won't even stand close to Spec Ops: The Line. I guarantee you it won't. However, I want you to tell the people of Mario Maker that they need to make more serious games and take a more serious narrative. Because I guarantee you, if we stack up when those games come out, I guarantee if we look at the sales, Mario Maker will destroy your fucking game. Because it's not always about being serious. If you want to take a serious narrative, that's fine. More power to you, alright? But don't tell everyone else that they need to make more serious narratives. Because you want to know what's going to happen? You're going to end up doing the Hollywood treatment. And you're not going to get enough credentials or have enough experience in said fields of certain things to talk to people, in personal experiences, that you're going to make these games, and it's going to be almost like a mockery of what's going on. That's the thing. I'm not saying you always have to live everything, but that's like, let's just say, in general, for example, Brianna Wu making a game about black people and not talking to black people. It wouldn't go well. Just like you want to make a game about mental illness, that's fine, but don't tell me that you didn't research mental illness before you did it. You better have researched it, you better have talked to somebody about it. And if you haven't, well then you're going to fuck up. And you're going to give it this light Hollywood canned bullshit that people are going to hate. Like I said, you want to go ahead and make Hellblade? By all means, go ahead. I'm not going to knock the game down just yet. Not just yet. Not until I see more of it. But you can't come out and say these type of things. And this is what got you in trouble last time, did it not? Opening your fucking mouth. Shut up. Just make your games. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Why is that so hard? Oh my God. Anyways, in more news, 43 more games have been added to Xbox One's compatibility list, including Dark Souls and The Witcher 2, just to let you know. Also, Rockstar. Yep, it's time getting to this. Rockstar responds to GTA 5 mod ban's complaint, and they're saying that it contains code to facilitate piracy. You know what I think about GTA 5? Fuck GTA 5. And I say that due to the fact that it's been 3 days. 3 days, and I still can't install the shit on my PS3. That's right, I can't install the shit because the install keeps freezing. That's right. And apparently, Rockstar, you've had this problem. Because I looked online, and so many people have this problem. And your answer was, well, what you can do is you can get rid of the install data and the contents data, and what you can do is reboot your PlayStation. If that doesn't work, take it over to a friend's house and see if that works. Maybe it's your PlayStation. Maybe it needs to be rebuilt from the ground up. Maybe you need to contact Sony. Everything has always been on the consumer side as opposed to your side, and you're full of shit. I'll put it like this. I've seen, and this is what I hate about mandatory installs, okay? You have to understand that when I see all these, complaints about this game, and you can't give a good reason on why, it tells me you didn't do your job. And I'm going back, I'm looking at these threads, at forums, and it's going on. It's not just this month. You know what I mean? No, it's last year carrying on. So you've had this problem for a while, and you haven't fixed it? What the hell's wrong with y'all? I forgot. You already have their money, so why would you care, right? So fuck you. That's how I feel. Fuck you. Sitting there, had my PlayStation on, I was just stuck on that one thing. I left it on, went to go for training, right? Go boxing, right? Came back, shit was still like that. Left it there from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. one day. That didn't do nothing. The next day, because I deleted the install, the contents, started the next day, okay? Started 10 a.m., went to work, Did everything else, came back, was still the same way. Went go work out, that evening, came back, was still the same way. Fuck you. Fuck you. There is no reason for that. And you gonna sit here and tell me that I'm supposed to waste my time on it? No, fuck it. It's a paperweight. That's what the fuck it is. It's either gonna be trade bait or I'm gonna toss it out the fucking window. You should clean the disc. There ain't nothing wrong with the disc. I guess I heard every excuse in the book why this shit doesn't work. Everything. Back up your PlayStation and then restore it back to its original form. None of that, stop! I shouldn't have to do all that shit just to get one game to work when all of my other games work with no problem. Fuck your game. Anyways, I want to move on. Yuzo Koshiro shows, for those who don't know, Streets of Rage 4 concept art. That's right, so Streets of Rage fans, getting your concept art. It's kind of wonky, though, to be quite honest, but then again, this is back in the day. When you see a guy wearing hammer pants, purple hammer pants, and a yellow tank top, it's kind of funny. Anyways, here's another one that people have fucked up on. Titanfall. Here we go, we talk about Titanfall, we start laughing. Titanfall. The developers say that Titanfall was crucial, and they want to reach as many people possible with Titanfall 2. Obviously, it wasn't that crucial, because we saw, should I say, the de-evolution of Titanfall. We already knew it wasn't going to go well, and then we saw YouTubers jump on it and say, hey, this is a good game. And their idiot fans was like, hey, I should go buy this. And then what did we see? Within 3 to 4 months, they were like, okay, well now you don't have to use the Titans. You can do, pretty much Call of Duty. First-person shooter, man-on-man action. That's what it was. You didn't even need Titans anymore. So you took the Titans out of Titanfall. Whatever. Yeah, go ahead. Make Titanfall 2. Yeah, it'll be great. Also, my last bit of news. For those who don't know, anybody who's in Killeen, Texas, Bit Bar is a bar, and as they say, a bar for geeks. And we just talked about this not too long ago. Geeks, nerds, gamers, whatever. It's an arcade and a bar that you can go and hang out with. It seems like they have a good array of games there that you can play. And to be quite honest, that's pretty cool. Also, I would just like to let you know, I'll probably talk about it next week, but there are studies that I'm seeing that Tetris is starting to help people with PTSD, from what I've seen. But I need to look more on that, so I'll probably talk about that next week. Anyways, what have we learned today? Consumers. And I know you're probably mad at me, and that's fine. Be mad. I'm mad. I don't give a shit. Be mad. Go ahead. As far as I'm concerned, after everything I said, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, I gave you the real, I gave you the fucking truth. You should know better that this is a no fanboy zone. If you got mad at what I said about the fighting game community, oh fucking well. If you got mad at what I had to say about Grand Theft Auto 5, oh fucking well. If you got mad at what I had to say about EA after they just fucking insulted you, after Peter Moore just said that shit, then oh fucking well. The fact is, you need to wake up and understand. Look, I understand you just want to play your games. I get it, okay? But you have to understand that there's work and there's play. And sometimes you got to handle business first before you can play. You have to understand what you're getting yourself into. And it seems like a lot of people still don't understand it. After all the years that I and many others have done this, you still don't get it. Why would you let somebody insult you? It's amazing. If I insult you, you'll bring your armies and curse me the fuck out and downvote and everything else and try and get at me, right? But if Peter Moore insults you, that's not that big of a deal. Why is that? Does he hold some type of special power over you? Huh? As far as I'm concerned, he's just another man. He bleeds just like you. Why would you let someone like him disrespect you? Why? Because he's got Star Wars? Because they're going to make a Star Wars game, so you're going to shut the fuck up? No! Speak your fucking opinion to him! And if he doesn't like it, well then guess what? Oh fucking well. He can handle it. As long as you don't go off the handle to the point, and when I mean going off the handle, I mean sending him death threats and shit like that's not called for. We've seen that before with Peter Moore. People have sent him death threats and that's not called for. But you sure as hell can call him on his bullshit. You sure as hell can. I don't understand how people can sit here and defend these companies or even this community, and that's what I said. It's a whole different game. It's a whole different ball game for me, man. The way I see things, it's absolutely ridiculous. And granted, it's always okay if you disagree. That's fine. You disagree. Hey, we're always going to disagree. We're going to disagree to things. But you got to be fucking kidding me when someone is seriously telling you fuck the consumers, pretty much. They didn't want to tell you that you don't play this shit. Now they want to tell you what you play and what you don't play. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? What? Come on, man. Like, that's crazy. That's fucking crazy. Anyways, I'm done for the day. This is long overdue. I was long overdue, but I did the stream earlier this week, so long overdue. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. We'll see what other bullshit that comes up next week, right? Yeah, I'm out.